Hello friends, this is Dr. Patitapa Bandar. Today I am going to discuss on the topic management of solid wastes during this video lecture. It is a very rare incident to see the production process to be 100% efficient. That means all the raw materials which is being consumed during the production process, ultimately that will gives rise to the product. In most of the cases we have seen that in addition to the required product, there is some product, the release of waste materials. That means there is a difference between the volume of the raw materials and the product. That difference which exists in between the volume of the raw material and the product, that leads to the generation of waste materials. If we come across our daily life, we could see that in each and every sector we are releasing some amount of the waste material to our environment. It may be the domestic sector, industrial sector, agricultural sector, or the medical sector. From all these sectors, whenever we are seeing the generation of the waste materials, we cannot say that all the waste materials to be released in the form of solid waste material, because the waste materials may be released in the form of solid waste, liquid waste, and the gaseous waste. But in this current topic, we will discuss on the management of solid waste. So management of solid waste, the waste materials are generated by the man-made activities, and ultimately so voluminous amount of the waste materials are getting generated during different activities, it is becoming an burning environmental problem. Solid waste materials are generated from the multiple sectors what we have discussed, like the domestic sector, industrial sector, agricultural sector, and the medical sector. As for example, if we come to the domestic sector, we have seen that during the preparation of the food, to whatever the activity that we are performing in our household sector, in each and every case we are releasing some amount of the waste materials to the environment. Similarly, the case of the industrial sector. During the industrial production processes, there are release of certain waste materials, and these waste materials may be accumulated on the soil surface, or it is being loaded to the aquatic surface, or is being released to the gaseous atmosphere or to the atmosphere. Very much similar is the agricultural production sector. During the agricultural production center, our target is to obtain or to extract the yield. After the extraction of the yield, the post-harvest product which is there, that will be coming an waste material. So that waste material, if it will persist there for a long period of time on the agricultural field, so that will create problem for the next generation of the cropland. Similarly, the biomedical sector. In case of the medical sector, we have seen that different types of the medicines, injection syringe, biotissues being released from day-to-day activities. All these wastes are getting accumulated on the land surface, and ultimately it is becoming an burning environmental problem. Now the question arises, what is the meaning of the waste material? Waste material is the material which is becoming unwanted for the owner, producer, or the processor after its generation. That means after the generation of the waste material, it has lost its value for the owner, producer, or the processor. So in that case, what we have to do, we have to find out the alternate pathway in which those waste materials could be utilized. Let we find what is the outcome of this study? The students will be in a position to apply the knowledge gained during this lecture to reduce the volume and toxicity of generated solid waste. The solid waste accumulated on the earth's surface ultimately leads to affect the public health and the distribution of the organisms. So whenever the solid waste is coming from the production processes and is accumulated on the land surface, at that time definitely we have to apply some technological method so as to go for the management of the solid waste. Management of the solid waste is possible with 3 R's. What is the meaning of these 3 R's? These 3 R's stands for reduce, reuse and recycling. So the management of the solid waste is possible with 3 R's like reduced generation of the waste, reuse of waste and the recycling of the waste. What will be the net benefit if we go for these 3? We could see that most of the portion or some of the portion of the generated waste material can be eliminated if we will go for the application of these 3 R's. That means during the generation step, if we will go for the reduced generation of the waste material, question arises how to go for the reduced generation of the waste material. So in this case, the best possible answer is that we have to remove the obsolete technology and we have to introduce new technology so that we could get the product, but side by side there will be release of the least amount of the waste material. So ultimately it will lead toward the reduced generation of the waste material. If we will continue with the obsolete technology what we have practiced since long till today, and in that case actually we could see that because there is a demand for the more production, so ultimately it will lead toward the more generation of the waste material. So if we replace the obsolete technology with the new modern technology, in that case there will be the release of the least amount of the waste material to our environment. Second R is for the reuse of the waste. Whatever the waste material has been released, if we will find some alternative way so as to get its use, that means it could be used in for another purpose, that is the reuse. Suppose, or for example, we could see that the waste material has been generated from one of the production process, and if that waste material, if we link up that one with another production process in which that waste materials could be treated as a reactant, so that the waste material which is being produced with the products from one production process, that could be utilized as the raw material in another production process. So with this we could be able to use the waste material for our day-to-day activities. So there will be definitely it will lead toward the reduction of the volume of the generated waste or the reduction of the volume of the waste material. Then the third R stands for the recycling of the waste. What we have to do in this case, suppose the waste material has been generated and we are unable to reduce its generation by following the first R. We are unable to reuse this one following the second R. In that case, the third option is that to go for the recycling of the waste material. If we will go for the phase transition, if we will change the phase, if we will go for the transformation of the waste material can be used for some other purposes. So if we will go for the utilization of these 3 years, like the reduced generation of the waste, reuse of the waste or the recycling of the waste, after all we could see that whatever the volume of the waste material was generated previously, now it has been reduced. So all these three R's like the reduce, reuse and the recycling of the waste material, to some extent it could be able to go for the management of the solid waste, as it is reducing the volume of the waste material which is being released from the different sectors. Now we'll come to the steps for the management of solid waste. The waste material has been generated from different sources during the production process. After the generation, the products has been utilized for the different purposes. What about the fate of the waste material? After the generation, the waste material should have to be separated from the product. It should have to be collected separately. But during the collection, it will see that the collected waste material is heterogeneous in nature. That means different types of the waste materials have been collected together. In that case, the management of those waste will be a difficult one, because the management technology for each and every type of the waste is specific one, it being different one. So in that case, if we will go for the management of the heterogeneous waste, that will be a difficult job for the management of the solid waste. So definitely after the collection we have to go for the segregation of the waste. But if we will go for the both the processes like the collection of the waste and the segregation of the waste, then it is a time taking process and cost factor is also involved with that one. That will increase the, ultimately that will increase the production cost. So if we will go for the segregation of the waste material at the time of the collection, so in that case very quickly the generated waste material to be segregated from one from the other, like whether it is the wet waste or it is the dry waste or it is the rejected waste, whether the wastes are hazardous waste or it is the non-hazardous waste, whether the wastes are biodegradable or those are non-biodegradable. So if we will go for the segregation of the waste, so thereafter whenever we have to go for the waste disposal, at that time different types of the treatments has to be provided to the waste material, so that the waste material has to lose its toxicity, it could change its form, so that it will also reduce its toxicity and it may be feasible for the organism to cope up with those treated waste. So after the collection and the segregation, or the segregation at the time of the collection, thereafter whatever the waste material that we are getting, we may go for the treatment of those solid waste on the site or off the site. If we will go for the management of those waste materials on the site, then it is a cost effective process. But if we will go it off the site, we have to take those generated waste to a different site where we have to go for the disposal or for the treatment. So in that case another cost also comes into account, that is the transportation cost. And during the transport of the waste material, the materials has to be transferred from the point of collection of the waste material or from the point of segregation of the waste material and to the site where finally it could get disposed of. To see the categories of the solid waste, we can see that the solid waste may be present in the wet condition or the dry condition. Whenever the solid waste is present in the wet condition, at that time possibility is that the solid waste may be biodegradable in nature. And whenever it is the dry waste, at that time most of the time we could see that the waste materials are non-biodegradable in nature. If we see what we have to do with those waste materials, the possible answer is that if it is a biodegradable waste, that is the wet waste, so it is also could be a compostable one. We may go for the conversion of the waste to a compost, a value added product, and this compost would be utilized for our agricultural practices, and in that case that would replace the chemical fertilizer to some extent, and that could enrich the soil for our agricultural productivity. So in one hand we are reducing the waste volume, in one hand we are managing the waste, and on the second side, on the other side, the waste material has been converted to a value added product like the compost, which is rich in nutrients that could supply the nutrients to the agricultural cropland. But whenever it is a dry waste, at that time normally it is not suitable for the compostable purposes. In that case we may go for the recycling of that waste. What we have discussed just few minutes there, that the dry waste in most of the cases those are non-biodegradable. So whenever it is non-biodegradable, at that time the best possible option which is with us, that is to go for the recycling of those wastes. With the recycling we could see that once again those waste material can be converted to the utilizable form. The most problem lies with the biomedical waste. These biomedical waste in most of the cases are non-biodegradable. These are also being treated as the rejected waste. Because these are extremely toxic, these are hazardous for the living organisms, so we shall not have to go for the recycling of those wastes. So that also comes under the non-recyclable waste. So if we come to the categories of the solid waste, from their degradation ability, from their nature, whether it is wet waste or the dry waste or the rejected waste, we can see that different types of the waste can be segregated and can be collected separately, so that it will reduce the cost involved with the segregation of the waste. It is a time saving one, because simultaneously segregation and the collection of the waste can be possible. Now the question arises, how is it possible? So whenever it is a time saving one, cost effective one, at that time definitely we have to see how we can go for the collection and the segregation of the waste at the same time. Very simple case. Normally we could say that in the urban local bodies they are utilizing the different types of the waste bins, like the green bins, blue bins and the red bins. Suppose the material or the waste material which is being released from a source, it is biodegradable and the wet waste. If we put it inside the green bin, so all those waste material would be channelized for the compost formation, and as a result of which we could go for the management of the waste material. If those waste materials are dry waste and non-degradable, but there is a possibility that it could be channelized through the recycling process, we have to put it inside the blue bins. So those waste material which has been dumped in the blue bins, that could directly we may put it for the recycling purpose. Whatever the pathological organisms are there, some toxic agents are there, some hazardous materials are there, some inflammable materials are there, explosive materials are there. So all these things should be put inside the red bin. So beside the biomedical waste, all the rejected waste like the electronic waste also, if we put it inside the red bin, that is toxic and non-recyclable. But to some extent, if we see that the electronic waste has the possibility to go for the recycling purpose. So in that case, the waste or the electronic waste which can be treated as a recycling, which can be treated or which can be utilized for the recycling purpose, we may put it inside the blue bin. whatever it may be, whatever the discussion that we have done as far as the collection and the segregation of the waste material is concerned. Very simple in thing, only the thing is that we have to put the different types of the material in the different bins. We have to channelize the processing in the different ways, as a result of which waste materials could be minimized, and on the other hand we may get certain utility of those waste materials after its processing. From another point of view, if we go for the categorization of the solid waste, we can see that some of the waste materials are hazardous wastes. These hazardous wastes are extremely toxic for the living organisms. If they will accumulate in the atmosphere, in the lithosphere, or in the hydrosphere, ultimately that will affect the health of the living organisms present therein. It will affect the distribution of the living organisms, and ultimately it may also affect the biodiversity. So hazardous wastes are injurious for the living organisms. We may see the cases of the inflammable material, explosive material, corrosive material, very much toxic or the epitoxic materials. So all these materials, all these waste materials would be grouped under the hazardous waste. The other waste which is not being treated under the hazardous category, that could be grouped under the non-hazardous waste. If we will sum up the hazardous waste with the non-hazardous waste, then we may be able to estimate what is the total volume of the waste generated per day, per month, or per annum. Let we have to see what are the characteristics of a hazardous solid waste. If the solid wastes are highly inflammable, very easily it could catch the fire, then we may say those solid wastes as hazardous solid waste. If the solid wastes are extremely toxic for the living organisms, or it is adversely affecting the quality of the environment, if those toxic elements are being accumulated in the environment and it leads to express its adverse effect on the living organism, or if the toxic elements are gradually getting biomagnified in the living organism, it could persist in the living organisms for a very long period of time and express its toxic effect. It may affect the vital organs of the living organism. Then we may categorize that waste as a hazardous waste. If the waste material, while it is present in the environment, it may go for the corrosion of the metals and the other things which has been present, or the other components present in the environment. At that time we may say that it is corrosive in nature. So whenever the waste materials are corrosive in nature, at that time also it may be grouped under the, it can be grouped under the hazardous solid waste. Suppose the waste materials have the ability to explode all of a sudden. In that case also we may group those solid waste under the hazardous solid waste. Very simple thing is that, suppose an object is there having the sharpened edge, just like we may take the case of the knives or the needles or the injection syringe. In that case also, very simple thing, all these are the very simple things, but still then it has the ability, it could harm the living organism during its exposure. So all those organisms which could harm the living organisms, either on the basis of its health or on the basis of its distribution or the diversity, all those things could be grouped. That means all those waste materials could be grouped under the hazardous solid waste. Out of the three categories of the waste that which we have seen that the waste material which we may go for the collection through the green bin, that is better as compared to that of the other two, like that means the waste materials which has been collected through the blue bins or the red bins. because the green bins, it contains the material which are wet waste and the biodegradable in nature. It could be converted to the compost. That means the waste could be converted to one of the value added product, and that could enrich the agricultural field with the nutrients that could help in the growth of the crop plant. It could increase the yield. So it is a better type of the waste as compared to that of the waste material which has been collected through blue bin and the red bin. So we have to see what type of the materials we have to put inside the green bins. As for example, some of the materials are the vegetable waste. Daily we are getting it from the household sector, the vegetable waste, the food waste, that means the waste material from the plants like the foreign leaves, the partially degraded root, partially degraded stem, all those will come under the plant waste, and the different types of the animal waste also, all those waste we have seen that it will comes under the wet waste as well as the biodegradable waste. After some period of the activity, either by the microbial activity or by the natural death and decay, so we have seen that actually those materials could be converted to the elemental level. So it could be termed as the biodegradable waste. So these wastes are better as compared to the non-degradable or the non-biodegradable waste like that of the dry waste or the red waste. Like that means the non-biodegradable and the rejected waste. If we go for the comparison of the waste collected through blue bins with that of the red bin, you could see that the waste collected through the blue bin is better as compared to that of the red bin, because the waste material collected through the blue bin, that no doubt it is all these wastes are dry waste and non-degradable in nature, but they have the ability to go for the recycling purpose. So with the recycling we may go for the waste management. So if we go for the comparison of the non-biodegradable dry waste collected through the blue bin with that of the non-biodegradable and rejected waste collected through the red bin, we have seen that it will be better to deal with the waste material collected in the blue bin as compared to that of the red bin. So question arises, what type of the materials or what types of the waste that we have to put inside the blue bin. As for example, we may put the waste material from the metals and the alloys, the plastic waste, the waste from the textile sector, the broken glasses, some of the electronic waste which can be recycled, so that we may put it inside the blue bins. So if we come to the third category of the bin where we may put our waste material, that is the red bin. Itself by color it indicates that it is dangerous to deal with such kind of the waste. So these waste which has been collected through the red bins are non-biodegradable. No doubt these are rejected waste, and the most important thing is that all these waste are non-recyclable, because these are extremely toxic, that could be grouped under the hazardous category also, because some of the pathological tissues may be there, some of the sharp-edged objects may be there, some of the toxic drugs may be there. So many types of the pathological microorganisms may be there. So these substances, it is not at all advisable to go for the recycling. So what type of the material then we may put inside the red bins? Then in that case we may see the examples that we may put the medical waste, the sanitary waste, leather waste, the broken glasses and the unused pesticides, because in that case the pesticides are mostly non-degradable in nature and persistent and are also very much toxic for the organism. So in those cases we may put it inside the red bin. So if we put the waste material at the time of collection in the different colored bins, at the same time while we are collecting the waste material, at the same time we are also segregating the waste material. So in that case that will be cost effective one and very much, that means it will be equipped with, that means it could be completed with a less consumption of time. All of you know that the materials are moving through the abiotic and the biotic components of the environment. The materials moves through the producer, through the consumers of different labels and the decomposers, and ultimately it is getting released to the abiotic component of the environment. Once again from the abiotic component of the environment, the material has been trapped by the producers. But whenever the materials has been accumulated in the form of the waste materials, at that time those materials will not be available for cyclic process. So as a result of which we could say that those materials will remain out of the cyclic process of the or the cycling of the matter which is taking place in our environment. So what adverse effect we will see under such circumstances? We could say that normally the different types of the elements which the different living organisms they need, they may not get it, and the cyclic process will be disturbed. So it may also affect the cyclic of the biogeochemical cycles as well as the sedimentary cycling process. Besides adversely affecting the material cycling process, let we have to see what are the other processes which are getting adversely affected due to the accumulation of the solid waste on the earth surface. So it includes the adverse effect on the public health. You know that many types of the toxic substances are getting accumulated in the lumps of waste material. It also includes the microorganisms. It emits different types of the odors, different types of the toxic substances like the aldehydes, ketones, like the different types of the volatile products. So all these things are adversely affecting the public health. Second thing is that it also contains many pathological microorganisms. So whenever the different living organisms they will get exposed to this one, at that time it creates an adverse effect on their public health. So beside this one, we could say that these organisms, their distribution pattern is being very much unique to a specific habitat, and whenever there will be the deposition or the loading of the waste material, at that time we could see that distribution pattern of the organisms are getting changed. That means the distribution of those organisms are getting disturbed. So the organisms will be able to compete for their requirements with the nature, and ultimately they are under the stress condition. Another negative impact of this accumulation of the solid waste is that it also affects the diversity of the organism. Under the stress condition, we could see that the balance in between the different organisms which is being maintained due to the diversity of the organism, that is getting disturbed. So all these are the which we have discussed, those are coming under the adverse effects of accumulated solid waste on the environment. Now it is the time to see the environmental sound solid waste management practices. Already we have discussed regarding the reduction of the waste generation, reuse of the solid waste with the cogeneration, and the recycling of the waste in the earlier section of this lecture. Already we have discussed regarding the segregation of the waste at the source and how it is useful for the management of the solid waste. Now it is the time to see that during the transportation, which is one of the steps for the management of the solid waste, because the different steps it include the generation, collection, segregation, transportation and the disposal. So transportation is one of the steps for the solid waste management. So whenever we have to transport the material from the site of release to the site of their disposal, at that time we have to go for the use of sophisticated waste transport vehicles. Whenever we will be able to convert the waste material to value added products like that of the compost, vermicompost and the will be able to produce the biofuel out of those waste, at that time we could say that in one hand we are reducing the volume of the waste material, and on the other hand we are generating some materials which will give benefit to the society. Whenever all these things are not being complying to the condition, in that case we have to go for one of the process which is known as incineration. That means in that, under that condition, we have to put the material inside a closed cabinet. We have to put the material at a very high temperature and under high pressure, so that the materials would be broken down to the elemental level, and it could also helpful in the reduction of the toxicity. But all these things will take place inside a closed cabinet. So minimal is the release of those things to the open environment. Whatever we have discussed, it will not be effective unless the public will be able to gain the knowledge regarding the solid waste management. So public awareness program is the basic to all those things. Now it is the time to see the summary. The load of solid waste is increasing in our environment from multiple sources. The management of solid waste is an emerging global environmental problem. The segregation of waste at source is preferable. The technology behind management of solid waste are category specific. It is preferable to convert the waste to value added products. Let us see some questions based on this topic. Thank you.